Before we get started, we've got something to mention. The Berthon International YouTube channel is a big part of how we represent our fleet. It's updated regularly with walkthroughs, sea trials and conversations with interesting people from across our industry. It's a straightforward way to get a proper feel for the yachts we have for sale, wherever you are, and to shortlist before stepping on board. It gives you a proper sense of the boats without ever having to be there in person. You can find it by searching Berthon International on YouTube. We'll leave it there. Thanks for listening.
Hey Murph, last time I stroked you in this position, you went for me, you bugger. I haven't got any traits, Murph. Haven't got any traits. That's first thing in the morning.
Leamington Shipyard had this week's selection. There's our brokerage ad.
Wow.
22 steam yacht, first class propulsion proposition, very considerable accommodation.
Who would have done this then?
It was, when is that?
55.
1935.
35. Bloody hell. It's pre-war.
Look at that. 11-ton auxiliary cutter by well-known designer. Among over 600 yachts now on our sales register, we must surely have one. To meet your requirements, we invite your inquiries. This week's selection. That's 70-ton yawl, auxiliary teak built, 2,500. 1810, I think.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. That is properly cool. And when I arrived here, we still had the dry dock, the dugout dry dock.
Where was
you
that?
went in.
Where
it
was
was
that?
where the travel hoist is now.
Right, okay.
The paint shed, didn't it?
Yeah, and then they filled it in. They were one of the few original family businesses still going. Murph,
150 years, I think. So.
go on. Right, sit. Sit down. Sit. Sit down. Sit. No, that wasn't yeah. Right, come on, let's go to this.
Murphy's a dog.
All right, come on. Yeah, come here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, is this all recording?
Yeah, it's already going.
Oh, dear.
Murphy, come on.
Come here.
Down. Stop licking the microphone.
Sit. You're going to have a lot of editing to do here.
Should we go for it?
Yeah, far away.
Okay, so morning, Alan.
Morning, Tim.
Here we are, just sat here, recovering from the Palma Boat Show. How did you find it?
The show, well, obviously there were two aspects to the show. Obviously, you were very much in the brokerage side of things. My focus was Solaris Yachts from Italy, who we've now represented for quite a number of years, probably 7-8 years. But recently we've just been appointed that territory, the Balearics.
Yeah.
So it was a new venture for us, and we're doing that in conjunction with with Lars and Ben from from Germany as well. So it was a new venture. So it was all new territory for us. We had two boats there, the 64 RS and a rather nice 50. Both recent examples, but obviously owner boats. So that all came together really nicely. Stand looked well. In terms of the actual boat show, I felt that we obviously had a number of appointments pre-booked and targeted inquiries, and they were very good. Lots of detailed conversations going on. I felt in terms of just the general, almost tourist footfall in the show in general, that felt to me a lot quieter.
Yeah, I thought the same. I mean, this year was my 10th year at Palma Show. I think people always say, it wasn't that busy. But I genuinely think this year that the general footfall was down, not necessarily just buyers, but on the Astilleros side, where Princess and all the production motorboats are, is normally completely chocker. But the few times I walked around there, I was surprised at how light it was on the ground.
But a tiny part of me though wonders, is that a trend? We're seeing that trend a little bit more. Gone are the days when we used to have boat shows here in Leamington, for goodness sake, and we'd have queues going out the door.
Really?
Those days are long gone. And you sense that even at events like Düsseldorf now, you're seeing less casual tourist visitors.
Yeah.
But then it's, I guess you could argue it's quality, not quantity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was on the HH66 no code almost all the time of the show. I did manage to get on and off, and yeah, we did have a few what I would call genuinely qualified clients that came on the boat. But yeah, I mean, I heard people talking generally, a lot of people concerned about, you know, diesel running out and you know, people struggling to fly and concerns over aviation fuel. So I don't know if all that sort of came together and that made it a slightly quieter show.
I think it definitely it peaked a little bit in the run up to the show, actually, and I do think I think people are possibly thinking twice about maybe impromptu travel and so on, and maybe just leave it and put it to the back burner a little. So, but yeah, I think in terms of overall confidence, it's undoubtedly got to be having an effect, absolutely. But we had a nice spread of boats there because you had a little bit of something for everyone, from reasonably rapid multi-hull through to classic, or modern classic. Yeah,
it was great. I mean, the feedback on No Code was, you know, that she was just stunning from the outside. You know, she almost looks like a racing car on the water from the outside. When people got it on the boat and inside the boat, they were pleasantly surprised by the comfort. But I think the feedback I got from her was that a lot of people just thought, wow, is this boat just a bit much for us? You know, is it just a bit too aggressive? Is it a bit too high performance? But, you know, speaking to the captain who's spent years on the boat, he said, you know, like anything, it depends how you want to sail her. You know, if you want to go everywhere at 100 miles an hour and full throttle, then you can, but you can also take your foot off the gas with the boat, and you can cruise her as a family sailing boat as well. And then Nazgul, I mean, she looked really great. I think I had a lot of viewings on board Nazgul, and then Invictus is probably one of the best ones I've ever seen.
She was lovely, actually. Yeah, and I think while you might be appealing to smaller markets with Nazgul and Invictus, the Swan, there's still a strong appetite for all things classic.
Yeah,
Spirit in particular, I think, been a sort of a quietly ongoing success story with those boats. They are beautiful.
Yeah, I had a meeting with Karen Underwood from Spirit at the show, and they had a lovely Spirit next door to Nazgul. And we had a general chat about the state of the market and how they're doing as a shipyard. And there's definitely still an appetite for these classic-looking sailboats.
Agreed. I think we did the market insights last week. And we talked about the start of the Med season and how we felt that it was getting off to a quiet start. And actually, it's really interesting. Over the last few weeks, what I felt is that I've seen an inconsistency, and you know, the markets in this past month, where the temperature of the market is almost changing on a weekly, daily basis.
Yeah.
The inquiry level is up one week, down the next, and you know, it's. But it does seem to be definitely. I think across both here in the UK and in the Mediterranean, I think the general trend is back up again. The inquiry level is on the rise, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. I was talking to a few charter brokers in Palma, ex-colleagues of mine and sort of industry friends. And they've had exactly the same thing. They've sort of had sort of influxes of charter inquiries, then it's gone quiet, then it's gone busy again. And like I say, we've seen it dramatically literally in the last 2 weeks. Whereas the inquiry level over the show period was quiet, and then the last few days or last week or so it's taken off again. But I think we'll always get to a general point where it's a good season.
Yes, it'll level it out.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows, but I don't think there's been too much fluctuation over the last few years.
No, that's borne out by, if you look at our historical figures. Yes, there might be the odd blip, but actually it averages itself out.
Yeah, definitely.
Indeed. So we've got a few talking points. One was what our thoughts are on the likes of Palma versus Cannes versus Düsseldorf. I suppose there's probably a closer, Palma and Cannes are probably in some ways more closely aligned.
Yeah.
Although Cannes is quite obviously a much bigger show than Palma. versus Düsseldorf. I think the primary difference with Düsseldorf is it's in the middle of the winter, which in some ways I find it quite good because to me it sort of kicks the season off. Although you are looking at boats out of commission in an exhibition hall, so it's not quite the same vibe.
No, it's not.
I think from a sales perspective, I almost prefer the Palma and Cannes scenario where you've got boats in the water, the rigs are up, the sails are on, and I guess in terms of people being able to envisage themselves on the boat, it's an easier sell in some respects.
Yeah, definitely. The dream's more alive when the boat's on the water, the sun's out. You see a lot of people walking around, feeling fairly casual in their shorts and their shirts. So I much prefer those two shows, and I would say against Palma and Cannes, I don't know if it's just because I was a Mallorca resident, but I just prefer the Palma show to the Cannes show. I like it, the fact that it's the beginning of the med season. You definitely have people that are there wanting to buy and be on the water in 4 to 6 weeks. I do like the Palma show more. I find Cannes is a little tricky with the way it's split between two marinas.
Yeah, it involves a bit more walking.
There's a lot more walking
or boats,
and a lot more stress. I always find that you rely upon either the walkways being open or a ferry being available to try and catch a client. So Palma's still my number one show.
In terms of the setup that we had there,
the way I think what was nice was that we had Nazgul in the sort of what you consider the main area of the super yacht village, and then we had No Code and Invictus in the middle, and then we had Solaris on the one pontoon down. So I think we had really nice Berthon coverage throughout the show. And I know a lot of people said to me, how many boats have you got here? You seem to be everywhere. So it was well laid out for us. And I think our team did a great job of getting everything ready, because having 5 boats in the show is not easy for anyone, and I thought we handled it superbly.
No, but certainly from a logistical sense, it went very well. But we're very lucky. We're very well supported in Palma. We have our sales office there with Natalie, Simon, Henk, and of course Berthon Spain are the refit and service side of the business, which helped out hugely in preparation for the show, both in terms of stands and the actual boats themselves. The boats looked amazing.
Yeah, and it was great to be able to capitalise on that. I know we got walkthrough videos done on certainly the 3 brokerage boats. I know we got some walkthroughs done on the Solaris 64 RS. I assume probably on the 50 as well. So it was great to have all 5 boats there dressed, looking amazing, and being able to refresh our marketing material in terms of doing walkthroughs and photo shoots. I mean, we went out on Monday after the show on No Code to do a photo shoot on her. So it was a really, really good week. Yeah, I was a little disappointed by the attendance levels, but you never know. We're only a week or so after it. I'm still working on follow-ups, and it's always interesting to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, no, I think so. In summary, from an operational point of view, the show went incredibly well for us. As you say, we had a great presence there. Everywhere you looked, there was a Berthon banner.
Yeah.
The general, so shall we say, there were fewer window shoppers than maybe previously. But as is always the case, those targeted inquiries that we had were very, very good. There were lots of very detailed conversations going on, and those conversations continue post-show.
Yeah.
So I think in summary, it's and last but not least, I think from a brand awareness point of view, it's a great event to be at.
Yeah, brilliant.
So yes, will we be there next year? I suspect we will.
Definitely be there next year, and I would love to improve on the already very impressive 5 boats that we had, and we were lucky with the weather this year.
It, as always, certainly yes, beats a slightly damp south coast.
Yeah,
that's for
it
sure.
does, and it threatened rain on the Saturday, I think it was, or the Friday afternoon. I can't remember which, but it held off, which was great because that's a nightmare for the crew.
Thankfully it didn't materialise. So yes, and from that perspective, it was a great week.
Yeah, Yeah, it was, and it's in the office now, and try and capitalise on all the inquiries we got, and we'll look forward to next year in Palma.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Alan. Good to talk to you. Before we wrap up, just a quick note. If anything we're discussing in this episode is relevant to you, whether you're buying or selling, the Berthon team is always available to talk things through. With offices across the UK, Europe and the US, we're able to give a clear view of what's actually happening in the market. You can find out more via the Berthon website. Good to have you with us, and we'll see you next time.